Hey, hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, from wherever you're watching from, whatever time you're watching. Welcome to All Things Rosa. I am that guest who came on set and took over the show like it was mine. But I'm not apologizing. I'm not, and I'm not. By the way, my name is Eric Malavi, and it's a pleasure to be here. Back to you, Matron.
Yes, everyone, welcome to our Singlehood series. And by the way, this place is cool like that. You come in, you feel at home, and you just get it. So I just want to challenge him and let him introduce our topic of the day, since he already took over the show.
That's how it was going to be. Hi. God have mercy on your son. Anyway, you had told me about the topics.
Yeah, I mentioned that because he's used to being the interviewer.
Wow.
And today he is the interviewer and he's on the spotlight. But let me just give him that honor of introducing the topic.
You should feel my stomach right now. I'm tensed. I'm not used to this seat. But help a brother, support a brother. Send me a thumbs up. Today all the thumbs ups are mine, not hers. On to the topic.
Okay, mine are comments.
So we are competing on your show?
No, let me just hold on to something because someone is taking over.
Yeah, are we competing on your show?
No, we are not.
Okay, the show is yours. So the topic of today is societal expectations on born again singles.
Ain't no love like a real love, but it goes so fast. All tied up like a captive. I'm on to you. Used to pay to run my life, sending no rainbows, playing it cool. I was all this in ages, and I'm no pain.
When you're born again, especially, and you're in the bracket of a young adult, or rather a single in church and in Christ, there are so many things that are expected of us. These expectations come all the way from the church environment to the society, to our workplaces, to everywhere we go around, because now you have that helmet of salvation in you. So you're actually asked, you're actually expected to act in a certain way. You're expected to carry yourself in a certain way. You're expected to talk and just express yourself in a different way. So Eric, if I may ask, how is it at your workplace now, being that you're single and you're born again? Do you ever feel like there are expectations that are put now that you're in this?
As we were talking maybe just before the broadcast, there are different facets of you being as someone who's single, which are there to everyone who's not married. And then there are those also which we relate to as being Christians or born again. So the expectations usually come in either negatively or positively, where there is the in-between, where these two meet. Like I'm single and this is how I should behave. And then I'm born again, this is how I should behave. You asked about maybe at my workplace. Mine becomes a little more, should I say, difficult, or let me just say a little more challenging. Thank you for that word. Because I work in two industries that are very dynamic in both good ways and bad ways. I work in the hospitality industry as my 8 to 5, which is called a dirty industry. I also work in the creative or media industry, which I know you are in, and so you'd also
that dirty industry.
Very, it is. So both of these industries are not industries that people take as very clean industries.
And also to wrap it up that we are in a rotten society as well.
Yes, and the society itself, by the way, being that the society itself already has its own bad things. So being that I find myself in those two means that the expectations of me as a Christian zinaweza kuwa watered down pale workplace, unajua, cause ya vitu zenye ufanya, cause being in hospitality industry, being in contact with people, events, alcoholic sometimes and what have you, may water your Christianity down if you're not very keen. And also in the creative industry, also being expected to do stuff, maybe projects that do not align to your faith. and you need money sometimes.
Yeah, true.
The finding an in between can be tricky. So the expectations sometimes are a little overwhelming. But if you know Christ and you know what He has called us for as Christians first before we are singles, then it becomes something that you can manage. Mhm.
That is, he's really articulated his point. And
What did you try to say?
so on my end, I'm also in the media industry, one of those industries that are related, that are named dirty, but it's really not as
As dirty.
I'm in the industry where we are also we also know that is not really highly regarded in terms of morals, but we do survive, and it's more challenging. I'm assuming it's more challenging being a female, single, and in the industry as well, because sometimes you might meet the expectations of the client. You might be good at your work. You might portray the best character, but at the end of the day, they still want favors for a deal to be closed, and for that really challenges us as women. And you remember that you're in Christ and you're supposed to be living in a righteous way, so you can't outdo that or water it down just for you to
stay relevant.
Yes,
yeah.
so we have to sustain ourselves. We have to learn a balance. We have to strike a balance and get to know who we are and where we are and what we are for before anything else.
Mhm.
So
I think one other thing I will say, maybe this one, that we've talked about the professional angle of things. There is now the expectation again when it comes to, we've said we are Christians, right? There's the expectation that comes when we are talking about now church, because our Christianity alienates us to the church. So pale pia kanisani tu kuna tu expectations mingi ambazo sometimes it acts sometimes in our favor and sometimes out of our favor. It could go to dress codes, and I know you'll have a lot to talk about dress codes. It could go to how the music you listen to. Our music, it's even defined as right now as contemporary gospel music. I don't like the word contemporary, by the way, for the record. But all these things come in and affect now our being, our growing, both socially and as Christians, because of the expectations that people have put upon us. Maybe just to turn this ball and be the one who's asking you the question, what you say about the expectations that brethren are put on brethren regarding dress codes?
On dress codes, it's wide, and different denominations have different angles, or rather different expectations of their youths, or rather of their members. So as women, there are churches that believe that a woman should cover their heads, cover every part of their bodies that shouldn't be seen. And then there are those that do not allow makeup completely, and then there's those that allow makeup. And there are those that probably you would wear a dress and it's too tight, and somehow it's too short, and in your own eyes, you're viewing yourself as decent. So we get to be judged a lot, or rather, so much is expected of us that we do not know even where to cross the line, or where we have crossed the line in this scenario. I wouldn't want to use churches as examples, but you've seen some churches that do wear uniforms, and others they do cover everywhere. Probably the fingers and the toes are the only parts of the bodies that are seen, and the face. And now there are where we do makeup, we do big earrings and all that, and you know that Christ lives in you, and somewhere else you'll be seen as not
uprightly in Christ.
Exactly.
Yeah, I also agree. And earlier when we were talking before this, you were asking me if also the expectations on us as men in terms of dress codes and how we tunaonekana in front of people.
If you guys even get such challenges.
We do. We do. We get a lot of them where,
Oh.
yeah. You know, with the kind of fashion that is there, especially right now within our generation, tights even for men, skinny jeans, ragged, unfinished, all those things. Sometimes you may be judged based on those. I'm not in the place of saying whether they are good or bad, because I'm part of this generation. But I would say that we find ourselves also in that shoe. And you'll even look at even the international scene. There are even pastors who I wouldn't mention, but who have lost audiences, or people do not follow them as much because of how they dress, or even musicians because of how they dress, and they are men. Those things come, and morality, I think, starts with us before it goes to even us being Christians. So it is relative.
Have you ever been in a position where you're tempted?
Yes.
You're put into direct temptation, as in people are drinking and they're like, onja tu, hardly they use Bible verses on you just to prove that whatever they are doing is not wrong.
I found myself in situations, very many, not one, not two, not three. And especially, like I was telling you earlier, the place where I work in the hospitality industry, and you'd find clients or people you've maybe helped in doing something would expect that maybe their way of saying thank you is offering alcoholic stuff and what have you. So unajua vile in the secular world, ukiletewa wine kubwa, hiyo mtu amekuwa appreciate sana. So the same thing will happen at the workplace. You'd help them and then they go to where some wines are being sold and mtu anakuletea. Of course, I've learned over time to say no to such things. Initially, when I was starting, I would take them. Wacha tu niseme ukweli. I will take them. Oh, I will drink. Wacha kucheka. I see where you're going. I see where you're going. I was born again.
Just to take you back,
yes.
Just in case you were drinking, you can go to my previous video and watch transformation.
Okay.
I talked about that, so it's okay if you used to drink.
So not holier than thou, but I've never been really had a problem with the drinking side, even when I wasn't.
You were safe.
Even when I didn't really know Christ per se. But back to what I was saying. Now expectations have also been there. I remember even in not high school, in campus, I would find myself in situations where friends want to go to those crazy places, and you want to go. I wasn't really like, deep in Christ, but the same way I am right now. I hadn't grown to this level. I was but I would still find it so uncomfortable. I don't know what used to make me not do it, because I wouldn't lie that it was. I wouldn't lie that it was. I wouldn't lie it was my level of Christianity, but I would say this. This is what I usually say. I think it was the God of my mother.
Ama tuseme uko na sweet tooth. Those things honestly taste sour.
Kitu kama hiyo, I think it was.
Mimi ni mlevi ama nilikuwa mlevi, but those things taste.
Ulijuaje?
Mimi imagine tu.
Wadau. Alijuaje that those things taste funny.
Those things.
But those are the expectations that are there.
Maybe it's the taste that didn't work for me. Eric, another question that I would have asked is, I don't know if it really affects you much as men, but for us ladies, the expectations goes beyond, even the dress code is really affected. And there's so much expected of us outside here in church, and also just anywhere you go, now that you're born again Christian, there's a way that each and every person has in mind. And different denominations have different setup of their expectations too. But it mostly looks to me, I don't know if you guys are affected in any way.
We all are. I know it's not as much as you ladies go through, but we are. And maybe to put it into context, same to Christianity, we are even as Christians, we are cultured. That is the same way, carrying it from another culture, whether it's secular or whatever. So you talk about ragged jeans, and there has been a whole discussion about, can a Jama come wearing ragged jeans on the pulpit? Different denominations will tell you different things. I know people who don't watch certain artists. Whether those artists are very gifted na wana upako, wanaongea kuramasanda garawea jio.
There are some huko ndani.
Yes.
Ndani.
But juu wanavaa hivyo, they even preachers, I wouldn't mention them on this set. They're even preachers who people don't follow because of the way they dress. Yet probably, from where you stand, probably they have some really and deep content.
They're genuine.
Yeah, so it affects both the girl child and the boy child.
Oh, I didn't know. For us, it's major and it's wide. Everywhere you go, there's someone that will expect us to cover our heads. Some will expect us not to do makeup at all. Some will look at our clothing and it's like it's too tight. There's always something about something in terms of our salvation and our dress code. So for us ladies, and let me just pose a question. You're in a dating scene, right? And your girlfriend, you want to take your girlfriend out. How do you expect her to show up on your date? Remember, she's a born-again Christian because you're equally yoked. You're looking towards that person. How would you expect her to show up on a date?
Yeah. First, maybe I'm not a marriage counselor or a dating and relationship counselor. Understand you. I'm just saying, I'm giving a disclaimer to the viewer. Disclaimer, I'm not a dating coach. Maybe in my future life, but I don't know. We'll get to that point when we get there. But I think if I was a dating coach, this is what I would say. Being saved doesn't mean you not appreciating that you're beautiful. Take note, I'm not saying indecency. Beautiful does not translate to indecency. Beautiful does not translate to immoral.
Can I interject?
Yes, you may.
What is indecent to you?
Indecent?
In your eyes?
Indecent? Showing places that are not supposed to be shown to the public. That is indecency in my most simplest way that I could define. So beautiful can be beautiful in very many ways, and as long as you are staying morally decent. And remember, morally does not even need you to be a Christian. First, let's just start there. This one is not even for you to be ati wewe umeokoka. Morally, I think our African traditions are even cultured more on morals than even the Christian faith. Okay? So coming from even before we were born again, we are even encouraged and even taught of how to be morally upright. So I will expect that date to come beautifully dressed. Okay? Beautifully dressed, but morally upright. Yes.
Okay. As you've heard, if you're out there and you think you can morally dress for a date, my life is available.
Hit your guy here.
Okay. And also, okay, I don't know, but we are normally told as women that men are visual.
Yes.
So when it comes to being visual, we always try to look our best part just to impress. And then in this scenario, you might find that can say, let me use the term holier than thou. And you didn't know that was the level and you're going on a date. Have you ever been scrutinized? Like, date anakukagua juu chini.
DCI.
You just, his eyes already shows that you've sinned.
Oh.
And you're just showing up, an innocent girl showing up on a date. So those are the kind of things that we as women.
Lakini you umeongea vi emotional. Ini personal, ndio. Unataka kushare? A producer anaweza to allow 2 minutes. We can share a story.
No. Write a comment down below if you ever felt that.
Yeah.
You just feel judged by walking straight to your date.
I think I would love to read those comments. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you do all things Rosa hapo chini. Just comment and tell us how these situations have come in your life. But I will say the director is signaling you to stop.
Yes.
I will say
I can see that.
I will say that just to finish it off with that, I don't think we are in the rightful place to ever judge someone. And if I'm meeting you for the first time, then if I'm already judging you before I meet you, then I shouldn't ever have thought of meeting you, because meeting you is knowing you. And then after knowing you, the things I would like, the things you like, and the things we both will like will now be in it to help each other. So I will let you know that maybe your dressing could be a little better if you did it this way. Not that it's bad. I know when you're told it's bad, nyinyi watu mtapasua vyombo.
It goes deep down.
Yes.
Mahali uguza ini.
So choice of words is also important. Yeah.
So this topic is very wide, and I think we can just do more and more breakups, and probably if he's willing, he can come for more sessions.
You'll have to talk to me nicely.
And you're willing to discuss this and expound this on more and different angles, and also your view, you're highly welcome. Wow, that was insightful. Thank you so much, Eric Malavi, for giving us your time.
Pleasure.
And also making this place lively. You brought life into it.
So I can come back again?
Yes, you're welcome. You're free. I hope you'll come, because the topic is really wide, and we cannot exhaust it in one day. And also other topics that affect us singles. Yes. If you've been there, if you just joined us, karibu sana. Please subscribe. Leave a comment. Let's confirm that you're with us. And also, if there's a topic you feel we can discuss, kindly feel free to let us know. Yes. And for your time and for your likes and your subscription and your continued support, we say thank you sana. We are here, and we are all things Rosa. This was the Singlehood series. Thank you so much.
Yay!
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.